What's up, everyone? My name is Andrew, and we'll be doing number 12 from the final exam review. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is factor this equation. So what I like to do is a thing called U sub. I learned U sub in my senior year, and it helped me factor, really difficult equations like these ones. This can include like trig equations or whatsoever. First I'm gonna write this equation. Okay, so I'm gonna replace the sin. In this case, I'm gonna replace the sine x with u. So it'll be u squared minus u minus 1. So u will be set to sine x. Okay? And the next thing we're gonna do is factor. Okay, so the way I like to factor is this method I learned called the diamond method, where you multiply a and c on the top part of this portion, and you grab b at this bottom portion. So over here, you can see 2 and negative 1. So 2 times negative 1 equals negative 2 in this top portion. And you can see b is negative 1 right here. So it will be negative 1 at the bottom portion. So you have to, on these two sides, you have to find out what would multiply into the top part and what could be added or subtracted in the bottom part. Okay, so in this case, you would take negative 2 and 1. So you can see negative 2 times 1 equals negative 2 at the top. And if you add these two together, it will equal to negative 1. So then I would then replace these with the b. So it will be 2u squared minus 2u minus 1u minus 1. Okay, so now we're going to do a thing called grouping. We're going to split these things in the middle, and we're going to factor these out. So the one factor that's in common in this side would be 2u. So 2u parentheses u minus 1. Okay, and then on this side, the factor they have in common is negative 1. So it'd be negative 1, or you could just, actually no, you could just factor out 1. So it would be 1 and then u minus 1. So you see that there's the numbers in the parentheses, they have a common factor. So that would be 1 of this, and then you grab these two, it would be 2u plus 1. Okay, so now what we can do is resub the u, the sine x, back into the u. So it will be sine x minus 1 times 2 sine x plus 1. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is find the zeros, or solve for the x in these equations. So I'm gonna set these equations equal to 0 and isolate the trig function. So it will be sine x minus 1 equals 0, and 2 sine x plus 1 equals 0. So let's do this one first. So you add 1 to the other side, go equal to 1. Okay, and then for the next part, you subtract 1 on this side, and then you divide 2. So it'll be sine x equals negative 1/2, and sine x equals 1. So now we're gonna look at the unit circle. In the unit circle, sine x will be equal to y. So we're gonna see what values of y will equal to 1. So if you look at the unit circle, the values of x, or the values of sine x that will equal to 1 will equal to pi over 2, and etc. And then it will be, on this side, it will be 7 pi over 6, and it will be 11 pi over 6. Now, you have to keep in mind the limit. We have an interval, so when we look at the interval, we have to make sure our values are kept within the interval, or else it won't be a part of the solution. So it'll be 0 is less than or equal to x is less than to 2 pi. So you can see that these values are within the interval, so these would be the solutions. Okay, thank you. Bye.